All right, here we are once again. And the goal today is actually to carry on from where we left off last time. So last time, if you recall, I was playing around with a bit. I got a new tablet and a stylus, and we were playing around with grease pencil in Blender, and we blocked out some of the scene locations for what may be a short film. Actually, I was thinking when we did this that this was just going to be just a test. I thought I was just playing around with the new tools, and then I'd move on. But I've actually been thinking about it, and I think I want to play with this idea for this potential little short film a little bit more. So I think today we're going to take it a little further, explore it a little more. I think I'll go through the rough script that I have that I came up with. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It maps out to these 5 locations here, and so I'll share a little bit about what the story's about, and then we'll come back in here to the 3D area and try and block out a little more of this. And I'd like to get to the point where we can block out some of the shots and camera moves just with real simple assets in here. So let's get started. I'm gonna open up a text editing workspace here, and I will call this a script. It's maybe more like a page of notes at this point, but it's something to get started with. So I'm good. I've got my view here. Let's keep this in mind. This will help me kind of walk through the different areas. So we start out over here. So we're going to start out in this tent, and it's going to be morning. So we're going to start looking at our protagonist, who in my notes I called Cue Ball, because I had just been, I think I'd just been looking at an Explain XKCD where they call that the generic stick figure Cue Ball, and I don't have a name for this character yet. So we'll just use that, and we'll change this later. So Cue Ball, she is sleeping in the tent, and then she's got a pet cat, and the cat comes up and kind of like rubs up against her face. So I guess the action's actually on the cat. A cat rubs up against Cue Ball's face. And she let's see if we can there we go. This is this is interesting. It says scripting because this is scripting like Python scripting, I think, is what they mean here. We're using it for sort of scripting. And let me see if we can word wrap too. Yeah, so Python open shading language. One of these. Oh, there we go. Okay, knew it had to be here somewhere. And that is not a comment. Okay. cat. Okay. The cat walks across the sleeping bag, rubs up against cue ball's face, waking her up. And I was just trying to type this as notes. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. Then, so this is like very like peaceful thing, and then we start to hear in the background like a beeping, like a truck backing up. I'll just say other worker noise. So we'll describe that soon enough. So just, you know, kind of some heavy equipment, which is actually a tractor, or like a tractor kind of a thing. And then then I think we go to the exterior. And then, so there's a police. So I guess the short version of this scene is it's like a homeless camp. So cue ball is in her tent, and then the police come and they're like cleaning up this this camp. So the police comes. It's like one officer, but call it police one because there'll be another. So he slices. So he slices the wall of the tent, and the cat jumps out. And then we're back to cue ball, who's just waking up. She doesn't really understand what's happening yet, so she will she'll say something to the police that's a little bit disoriented. We'll probably work on this later. I also don't have a name for the cat, which should probably come up in this dialogue. We'll just call it cat for now, though. We can work on better dialogue than that. I probably should. I'm actually going to take it out so I don't have bad dialogue in here. Say she starts looking for the cat. And she goes, the cat's gone through the slice in the wall. But our protagonist is going to go out the tent door. She starts chasing after the cat. The police. Police tells her she has 3 minutes to pack up and get out. She looks around one more time for the cat. She doesn't find it, then she goes back into the tent. grabs a few items. She grabs like her money. She grabs a card, a little camo plater, and a jacket. And then next we see like a front loader starts tearing these things down. Is that what it's called? Front loader? I'm thinking of like the tractor thing that like I know I've seen them at like big trash pickups where you can like grab stuff and then load it up in the back of a trash truck. So so it's just tearing down the stuff that's there. Let's see, and then this is the good part is the cat comes out. So that's good. Happy, not the ending, but a happy happening there. And there's one more interaction with the police. Alright, so they've just torn down her home. She managed to grab a few things, but not everything. We'll kind of see when we have this establishing shot in the tent. We'll kind of show some of the possessions and the setup, and you know, it's humble, but it's we want to show that it's home for her. And then that kind of concludes the action for what happens there at the tent. And so then looking back at our little layout here, the next up is like a homeless shelter area. Oh, there's actually one, the police is going to recommend the homeless shelter, that there's one nearby. Okay, and then we're on to the next location. So, and like I was saying last time, so I've set up this layout. So all the locations are pretty close here, but that's not going to be real evident once we start shooting. So I've sort of laid it out like it's a set, and all these things are together. That'll let me kind of reuse some of the assets. But in the story, this will be something, this could be like several miles away, all these different locations. Or not that much, but you know, they're not necessarily as close as we have them in space here. So she goes to the shelter, and then this is the big, like the conflict, or part of the conflict. This, I guess, having her home torn down is a bit of conflict, but this one she had no real choice in. This next step, she's going to have a decision to make. So she's standing in line to like get registered and checked into this place. So it's like a little lobby, maybe a few other people in there. And importantly, the cat is tucked here's the conflict: is she gets to the front of the line, and the receptionist, I think I spelled that right, tells her no cats. Let's see, we can do this differently. Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't going to do that yet, but it's not a bad way to think through things. There might be a little back and forth. I don't think she'll say much, just sort of a like one word things like but, or like what about, and the reception will just say it again, no cats. So we can even put that in here. And I know you're just watching me type at the moment, which is probably not super interesting, but hopefully it's interesting to see how this story gets laid out. And then we'll be back to the 3D stuff here in a bit, and we'll try and block out some of these shots. So yeah, a little back and forth. I was told no cats. So she leaves. And she's upset about that because now where is she going to go? And yeah, where is she going to go? Is to the alley. And the idea here, I think, is some time will have passed. We get to evening. We'll try and indicate that with the lighting. Yeah, so a little bit of time has passed. She's been looking for options, and now is sort of running out of time to figure something out before it's nighttime, and she really needs to be settled somewhere. And then here it's just her and the cat, so there's not a lot of dialogue, but okay, so she walks into the alley, evaluates the situation, the place. And sits down out of the view of the street. There'll be something there, some like just like I was gonna say boxes, but that's kind of like cliche. I wasn't even sure about this alley space as being like too cliche as a place to find and stay, but we'll try and make it fun. But she tucks in there. There's something that lets her get kind of out of view of the street. She finds a little corner and sits down. And then She just has a little moment with the cat. And the cat, of course, doesn't care because it's just happy to be with her. And then in the morning, this is how I have it. Right, I have this written down on a piece of note paper. The other day when I was thinking about this, I wrote down some notes. But this next part might change from what I have written. A few things have. The beginning also changed. I didn't initially have her in the tent. It just kind of started here with the police. But I think this kind of establishes it better. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other changes. I'm getting rid of that one since there will be another police officer, but apparently has no action. Will just be in the background, so we'll just call the one with action police. Okay, so let me see what I have here. So what I had in mind is something I had forgot about when I was actually laying this out, because it would require another location, which I'm not sure I wanted to do. I had her making a sign, like finding some cardboard, probably here in the alley, going to an ATM or something to get a pen, making a sign, and doing some panhandling for money. That would be another location, and I don't know how much it adds. We'll just make a note. Come back. We'll see if we want to do that or not. The next up is the next location. So this is the interior of the store. And she goes into the store. She gets some, gets some bad looks, kind of a thing. I think I want this to feel a little bit uncomfortable, just because she's going in and is judged on her appearance, even though she's a legitimate customer. She's going in to buy some things. So write that down, I guess. She's going to get a flashlight, a tent, and a battery. And maybe some food. The food doesn't really play into the story at all, but I think if she were at this point, that'd be a natural thing to do. And she did. Yeah, I kind of feel like we can skip this because she has some money. That's one of the things that she pulled out of the tent initially when she had a couple minutes to do that. So she's got these things, and she checks out. And then we are back outside. And she is setting up a tent in a new place. All right, and then I guess this is back inside the tent, but yeah. Sorry, I'm definitely having a stream of consciousness as I'm doing this, stream of thought. But this is the new tent, so it'll be a different color or something, different shape than the old one. So she's setting up the new tent. She sets up items inside. She tucks this is the card. So I have this card originally that she pulled out. So this is like a greeting card. I've kind of changed my mind about what object this would be. It's supposed to be something that's sentimental to her. So I had it being like a toy at first. But then my most recent idea was to have it be a card, like a greeting card. It's got a voice message from some family member. And then that was supposed to be like the battery that she buys was supposed to be a replacement battery for that. So she like puts it in and listens to the message, and then like tucks it into the pocket of the tent, sort of as she's like setting this up as her new home. Which doesn't sound bad now that I say it out loud. Let's write that down. So she sets up a tent in a new location. Place battery in a greeting card that she had pulled out of her old home. So it's a little bit tattered. It's like an old card. And that message would be something like, wishing they could be together, or something like that. And then she places the card into a pocket of the tent, like that's its new home and hers as well. And then we're back to the exterior of the tent, which actually I guess is the first time we're at the exterior of this tent. And we can see, oh, okay, this is going to work out. So she comes from the store, and then we don't see the exterior. We just see her inside the new tent, sort of setting it up. Does the thing where she listens to the greeting card, and then that's when we see the exterior. And it's in a location sort of similar to the first, but nicer. There's like more open space. There's less like clutter around. She's a little bit farther from like in the beginning. She's in this very industrial place. They're like right up against this this building, and the tent's all crammed together. And then the new place, So she is, there's like a chain link fence or something that she's up against. So it's still kind of got that like closed in protection element, which is something I think she would look for. However, it's just a chain link fence, so you can see through it. There's some space before the buildings that are inside the industrial park that fence separates. And on the exterior as well, there's some kind of like open field, open space, and then again that creek and trail, which kind of continues from the first one. So similar, it's got some similarities, but some differences as well that are hopefully improvements, and then also kind of the lighting, the environment. It'll hopefully be kind of a peaceful feeling. So a little bit of an arc of like home is destroyed, and then we come back to a new home. In some respects, I guess you could say it's better. It's an improvement. On the other hand, she's lost all her other possessions except for those few things that she was able to grab. But she does still have the cat. She's got this sentimental item. So kind of it resolves to she's going to make this place a home again. And then the conflict is just overcoming these few things: the initial interaction with the police, the awkward exchange inside the store. Not even like an awkward exchange so much as just just seeing the way that other people are treating her. So a little bit day in the life of what would be a difficult life. Though a particularly difficult one of finding a new location to live. And I guess the thing that gets to me that I want to highlight is the scene in the shelter. This is something I've heard of happening, that even when there are resources for people that need them, things like this happen where you're not allowed pets. And I was thinking about it, and I would really feel that. I think that's being asked to give up a pet so that you can receive services like housing would be a huge deal. It'd be hard to do, especially when you don't even know how long that situation would last. Maybe it'd be one thing to give up your cat for a permanent housing situation, but something that might only last a week or a night or two. It's a pretty big sacrifice, so something to consider. So wanted to kind of highlight that. I think this sort of came to me. This idea, this script just happened this week. Was thinking about this. Happened to see somebody, and I was walking past a location where there was kind of a camp, and was thinking about this fresh. The problem of homelessness in general. One thing that happened to me though, and it's not so close, but a couple years ago I had surgery, and it took me a few weeks to recover. It was pretty serious. But one of the things I kept thinking of when I was doing that recovery was I just had all the help in the world. I've got a family that's great. They were taking care of me. After I got out of the hospital. Making sure I had food, making sure that the house was kept up, and just everything I needed. So that was great. People from work were great. Like I had tons of support, and I think it just hit me at that time that I was doing that, and I had a lot of free time to think about things. I thought about what something like that would be like for somebody who's homeless, or somebody who just doesn't have that support network like I did. And just how rough that would be, because you're, trying to let your body heal and trying to relax. And I had limits on how much I could lift, only a few pounds, and could only do certain activities, and just for a while needed help with everything. So that'd be really tough if you didn't have a support network. To the point where something that was a big inconvenience, but essentially just an inconvenience for me, would be completely life-altering if you were starting out from worse circumstance in the beginning of that. So was thinking about that, and I don't know how relatable that is generally, but I tried to put um, kind of a more relatable story together. So I think the pet, if you want to pull on emotions, pets are the way to do it. So I was thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about it so directly in that way, but anyway, I think it's come together nicely. So let's get back. We can wrap this up and then get to some of the 3D layout stuff. So this is really it. We get to the exterior. So we've already seen her in the tent. So I say setting up the tent, but this is probably like putting on the rainfly. Is rainfly one word? I don't know. It's just setting things up. So she's back on the exterior, so we can see her. This is kind of a wide shot again, so we can see the environment, see the similarities, see the differences, and we'll kind of just leave that up. We can keep this up for a while and then fade out. We can put credits over this. There won't be too much detail in the action you need to see. It'll just be her kind of going about putting the finishing touches on home, and that's it. So that's the idea for the script. A few things. We'll have some dialogue to fill in here. We've got kind of an idea, so she'll have dialogue with the police. We'll have to write that in still. Dialogue with the receptionist, we've kind of got, but we'll change that a bit. Probably easiest, I could see the store scene could be like a silent scene. Like this could happen with no dialogue, though it might be easier. Like it might be more clear if we do have, if we have the store clerk say something to her. We'll see. We'll block that out. We'll get a better idea, I think, how we want to do that. And then, of course, the cat is main part of the story, so the cat's present in both these scenes as well. I don't think it needs to be more than that. Just she kind of does the action, and then there's the cat there for her. And then here, I don't even think I'll write it in. We'll see what we want to do if we put it out silhouette. We kind of gave the impression it was an indoor cat before, although those lines are probably faded. If you were living in a tent, I can't imagine a cat living full-time in a tent, but we'll see. Anyway, this is a wide enough shot that probably the cat doesn't feature so heavily. Maybe a simple silhouette. So we'll make sure we have the cat here. We'll just make this like a smooth movement. Okay, so that's more or less how it's going to go. I'm going to save that. All right, and now let's go back to our canvas here. And so I've been talking through the script, but we can talk through it here as well. Kind of jog my own memory, and then we'll start blocking some of these objects out, as well as some of the camera movement is really what I want to get. Kind of get a shot list. And the shots together. Okay, so first is here, and okay, a few things I want to do, and now we're back to some experiments. So this whole thing started with me wanting to experiment with the new tablet and pen. So that's what some of this is. I guess we've got some playing around to do to experiment how we go from kind of the 2D flat layout we have to more 3D elements. Whether we keep doing that with the pen, if we use more traditional 3D models to block this out. Yeah, we'll kind of see what happens here. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so we are in draw mode. Can I still... Yes. So I can place the 3D cursor. So I want to try something here. So if we're trying to draw in the tent, if I drop that there, and let's get some colors. We are in draw mode. Pen. I get this warning, which is alright. It tells me the battery's dead on my pen, but it seems to just do that no matter what. Okay, and then let's pick up a color. Do I have a color picker where I can pick from the scene? I don't know if I do have that. Do I get that here? Like most. Yes. Takes a few extra clicks, but it's there. Okay, all of that just to see about this. So I should be drawing at the location of the 3D cursor from the view. So I'll be drawing on a plane that's at the depth of that cursor, but where I am. And so I just wanted to see if I can draw on the tent like this. And it's not great, but it's not horrible. Like I said, this is all an experiment. We can fix it up. Oops. So I have proportional editing turned on, but I want the influence to be a lot smaller. Here we go. My thought was I could just kind of pull these corners to the corners. That's still not great. I'm not sure I'm helping the situation. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I think we're we're moving things around, but you end up working so much just in one point of view. Let's make this connected only. That's a little better, but no, that's this is horrible. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing it even though it's horrible, and then we're gonna do something different for the next one. So I don't know. Do you see what I was going for? I was trying to take what was like a 2D layout of the tent and sort of give it some dimension, sort of like the ridge lines of a tent, like you might have. Makes sense to me, but that took a long time. That was not as convenient as just a sketch, which was the idea of using this system in the first place. So let's think about what to do. Let's leave that for a moment. Let's not mess with something that is created. Let's go to object mode. I've got the select circle. What's I want? That's not what I want. I want just a normal selection tool. Ooh, now we're getting that freezing again. That's interesting. I don't generally get that with Blender. It's like a normal 3D scene. My PC's moving pretty good. I can hear the fans are spun up. And you can see the interface is pretty laggy. Okay, I guess well, a couple of important things here is, did I get that script? I don't want to lose that. Let me switch. That was something else. Just get rid of this keyboard. Okay, yeah, looks like we have this saved. So that's fine. Sorry, just making super sure that we have that. Where did we go? Here we go. Okay, this is still locked up. Let's kill Blender. We don't need to save. Now let's just restart. Alright, tried to open on the other monitor. This was layout. Okay. Now how are we doing? Okay, we're screen's responsive again. We lost our last little edits. Oh, I guess we hadn't saved it. Okay. I'm glad I checked that file. Let's get that back. We'll open it. That's interesting. I thought it would be there. Like, I thought it would be here. Did I do that wrong? This is a text editor. If I click open, weird. Oops, sorry. Back here. Sorry, I can make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing. So I still have the script here. Why can't I open it? In the no cats folder, which is what I called this. Yeah. Repos, stream stuff, no cats. I wonder, does it need like an extension? If I give it that, is it happier with me? Yes. So it's happy with script.text. Interesting. I didn't know that it won't open a file without an extension. Good to know. Okay, back here, I'm going to save the file now that it's got that script attached to it. Okay, and where were we? Back to the question of this tet. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to a different view. So I think this might be a question of me understanding how grease pencil works. So I have a collection that has, looking over here, I've got a collection that has 5 grease pencil objects in it. I've got 3 of them hidden. What were those? Do we have just scribbles or tests or something? Just looking at my settings, I think I might be running on integrated graphics, which might be part of the problem. That might be a big part of the problem. Still though, this is just not that complex of a scene. All right, we're going to restart again. We got our save. Let's turn some things down. Okay. So, okay, this is good. So I had separated, I've got one grease pencil object that is just kind of the direction or like notes that I was taking. So that's good. I've got another one. If I turn that off and turn this on, that is the map, the layout, and this I think is all just flat. This is one essentially a 2D image. What are these other things? Were those just okay? So those were just scribbles I was doing because this did start out as me just trying to figure out how to work the stylus. So here's what I think we should do. If I go to edit mode, and then I think maybe this object's too big, and when I start editing it, it kind of lags. How do I... So this is this object. Oh, somehow it went into edit mode on this other one. Yeah, so I think edit mode's the problem. So what I'm going to do is try and separate some parts. So when we go into edit mode, we're only working on a much smaller piece of the mesh, which is fine. That's probably how I'd like to work anyway. We might end up with very many pieces though. So let's try and prepare for that. Okay, we're going to restart Blender one more time, but I have an idea what to do now. To get past this issue. So we get in here. We'll come to object mode, not edit mode. Okay, things seem to be responsive right now. We'll make a new collection. We'll call this layout 2D, and then this grease pencil object which is that like map. We're going to move to that. Now I'm going to make this visible, and now this is what we need to work. I'm going to go to edit mode, but all we're going to do is grab all the parts and separate them into different objects by selected points or selected. Oh, is this going to do this all together? Okay, we won't do that. But we'll grab some like regions. Oops, that's what I didn't want to do. But we're gonna go with it. Okay, so I'm gonna separate selected strokes. Okay, this should get better as we go. So now I can do just the creek. Yeah, the creek and that thing. Let's see, that's fine. And I should grab anything that I partially highlighted. So we'll separate those strokes. Select something else. Oops, I didn't want all of that. Do a little bit smaller selection. We'll get everything here in the store. Separate that. We have this building. All right, a little tedious doing these one by one, but at least we only have so many to do. And then I think the last one is this. And then I'll just select one last time. I was trying to select everything and I don't see anything, so I think that means we're done. So let me go back to object mode. And now we've got, in this view, we've got this grease pencil object, which was the original, but now it's empty because I selected everything out. And now we have these individual objects. So let's save this if we can. Interface is a little laggy again. Okay, but I think we got our save. And now we can go through these. I want to name them because I think that'll help things. Oh, the interface is really lagging. Oh, this is a little painful. Painful for me, painful for you to be watching. I'm not you heard me type a few seconds ago. Now it's like coming up one letter at a time. All right. Wonder why this is so bad. Just some grease pencil objects. Like I said, I've never really worked with these before. They have, I mean, they've got like sort of a lot of points, but not compared to what Blender should be able to render. Or not even render, just have it in a viewport. This one, what is this toggling on and off? Oh, this is the big building. We'll call it that. And again, you can see how bad that is. All right, how can I make this better? Is this better, the shading mode? Okay, we're gonna do this one more time. Okay, we saved. We're gonna quit. That wasn't so bad. I could at least quit with the interface this time. And we're gonna start it again because it seems to start out okay when I load it. No, the interface here is still. I was hoping this like wireframe view would be a lot faster. Try viewport shading. Just really low frame rate. See, I've got, looking on my other monitor, I've got my like system resources here. So you can see this is like my CPU. Every time I try and do something, it like rails one core, and then memory is just at, oh, sorry, that's network. Never mind. Oh, so memory's okay, like 40%. And then network, that makes sense. That's just because of the stream. Alright, yeah, trying to think of what we could do to make this better. And I honestly don't know at this point. Well, I could switch to my graphics card instead of the integrated graphics. Although this should, I mean, it should be able to handle this level. Okay, let's look at another one of these. Let's see if we can at least get these named. So these are the tents. Oops, messed that up. Let's see, what is this? I don't know if you can see this. It's really, I may as well switch over to this one if it's going to be laggy either way. Okay, this is the field. What's number 5? Is that just an empty building? Yes, that's just got to be, that one's just an empty building. Number 3 is the river, most of it. The creek. Okay, we at least got those named. Okay, let's try something else. Let me save this again. Let's close Blender. Let's reopen Blender. Okay, let's do just a new file. Let's wait here for just a second and see if this gets laggy. I'm guessing it won't. Like this is nice and responsive right now. Do what we want with the cube, no problem. Okay, and then I know this is weird. I know this is just a blank scene. I'm gonna save it though. I call this layout 02 for lag because that's why we're creating it. Okay, and now I'm going to try and link or append. I'm going to try to append out of that other file just the few objects we want. Oh, that's interesting. They didn't. Oh, because okay. That must be like the equivalent of mesh data where we want the objects. Yeah, and the objects are named. So let's pull over just the tents to start with. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, so we can do that. Get rid of this cube. Okay, so we have that. It should have kept the colors. It did. And the interface seems fine so far. So that's good. A little frustrating, but good. Okay, so we have something we can work with. All right, so I had tried, and we'll just pull the rest over as we need them, but I was going to start with these tents. So I'm going to try with just some regular geometry, sort of build this up. We'll see how far we get. I guess one thing I wanted to emphasize here is in the way I'm working. Oh, here I can go to edit mode. Sorry, two trains of thought here. So I'm going to separate that tent. Oh yeah, so one big thing on this project is I want to try and change the way I work a little bit, with the goal in mind of actually getting something done, which is not how all my projects sometimes go. But the idea is to not do any more work than we have to. Oops. Scale of 0. Oh, this might be bad. Blender locked up, and I know why. I knew it before it even happened. Because I was thinking in geometry terms, where I was like extruding faces up out of that, but that was now Blender's trying to draw strokes for. So it was like a rectangle, sort of like this one, right, with a bunch of points around it. But now I have a new stroke I just created for each one of those points. So there's probably like a few hundred points, and I just added a few hundred strokes to this scene, and now Blender completely ate it. Okay, well, if nothing else, we learned something. Let's restart. I don't think we need to save. And we'll do it. We'll do what I actually said I was going to do, which is doing it with regular geometry. So we've got this file. It's mostly blank. I'll delete that cube. We're going to append from the first file an object. We're going to do the tents because I'm going to make those work. Okay, we can come to this other view where we get colors, because that doesn't seem to bother it too much. Okay, now we're going to treat this just as a reference. I think I can lock this object. Might need to get added. Indirect only. Those are like rendering. Oops. Nope, I guess I don't know how to do that. I think there's a way where you can like lock an object so it's not, so you won't ever select it. Maybe, is that, what is this check? No, the checkbox, just everything. Okay, well that's fine. I'll just try to not do that. Okay, so let's add a cube. We'll put our cube back. Okay. So a couple of thoughts here. One is it's a little disappointing if I end up just using normal geometry for everything, because then why didn't I just do that in the first place? Probably is a little slower than sketching, but if I have to sketch and then do that, not really a time saver. And then the other thought was we were going to need to do that eventually, so we may as well do it now. This is probably a bad idea, but I'm going to import the other objects. There's only 5. Building, big building, creek field, store, tents. That sounds right. Okay, and hopefully once these load, hopefully just being here isn't too bad for them, as long as we're not trying to edit those. That is pretty bad again. And part of me wants to give it a second to see if it improves, but they're already visible in here. They've already loaded. So we were sort of okay working with one at a time. Really, I'm like hoping for a way around this, but I think I'm doing something wrong enough that it's just not going to work the way I want. Top of mind is switching to a discrete graphics card, but I have to restart to do that. Which is a little bit of an issue for the live stream, since I'd have to shut off the live stream. Other options are if I can just shut these off. We were doing okay when I just had one of these. And maybe we do them one at a time. Maybe one of them's bad. Maybe it's the stream that's really bad. That's probably the most dense. And it's also the one we need the least, which is convenient. Let's try that. Type it in building. I have building on the mind. Like the buildings in that scene. Okay, getting rid of that cube. Adding, I should save it this time as I go. We're going to append objects from this file. Okay, the tents we're going to do. I'm going to go for it. I bet it's the creek. So we're going to do the field building, the big building. we're going to append all of these. That's still a little slow. It's not as completely frozen as it was. What can I do here though? Let's look at modifiers. Can I... What does simplify do? I was looking for like decimate. Resample the stroke with segments of length. Adaptive. That sounds good. Factor and influence. That's fine. I wonder... Do I get mouse over text on the factor? Factor of simplify. Okay, I see. So 5 seems to be a max, and then they're all just segments that scrolled. the interface is still not good. Let's make that maybe 1 and see what happens. So you can see what happens. So I on this stroke, which was all the tents and this path and the part of the building, added a simplify modifier with the idea, oops, that didn't take, with the idea that I might be able to reduce the geometry and things could get more responsive. Okay, I don't think I need to go so far that they're actually like, well, even that they're like visually modified. I should be able to keep them looking mostly the same. Okay, so that's not bad. So if I compare, this is basically the same, just a little less wobbly. Okay, do I have stats on this? Even, I think they're usually in the bottom corner. I was going to see like how many verts it was before and after. Is there a way to apply the same modifier? Duplicate it here. It'd be awesome if I could just do it to the rest of the things automatically. But that's okay. Let's try another one. And then once we've done all of them, we'll see if the interface is better. Nope, not subdivide. Simplify. Adaptive. Oh, the interface is definitely laggy. I wonder what 0 does. I wonder if 0 is like an automatic. We'll just do it the same. We lose a little bit of the detail, but if we get the interface working better, then we can come back and play with values. This feels better already. This got faster. Okay, we've got a solution, I think. Be curious to someday kind of explore those settings. Okay, now here's the moment. Is the interface more responsive? Not particularly. Okay, let's save this. We've made some improvement. Things still, oh, now, okay, that's much smoother again. Okay, maybe we're gonna be okay. And now that it's working again, I'm tempted to use the pen for the next step. But that might be pushing my luck too much. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, let's add some geometry. And if I go back to what I was saying before, point I was trying to make a long time ago. I'm getting distracted again. Look at the scale of the tent. Look at these first tents I drew, and then the scale of the second tent. Those are supposed to match. I mean, more or less. That's interesting how my mind went. Okay, anyway, stay focused, which is the point I was trying to make, is in an effort to stay focused, I'm going to try and work very top down on this project. I'm going to try and not build anything that's not absolutely needed for this project. I have a real tendency to, come up with a project idea like this, get it to this level, or even this level's, better than I sometimes do, but I'll have an idea, and then I'll have a thought like, oh, okay, so we're building a city. We're going to need, there's going to be streets in this city. I should make a street texture, and then I will just spend hours crafting a street texture that's only really, it's not for a film about the history of streets or anything. It's just I just need a street for the scene. So in this project and my other ones, we're going to really focus on top down, not bottom up, not building every little piece that might feature in the film. But starting from this, blocking things in, doing some of the things that I never get to, like working out camera positions and some of the animation and character development and things like that. So really, really high level things, and blocking in detail only to the level that we need to for any step. So we're going to start by just blocking this out. A lot of this stuff as just cubes and things, really simple geometry. Something like the tent that's actually like a setting all on its own might get a little shape to it. But that's what we're going to do, and then we'll kind of iteratively refine that as we go. And the idea is, something complex. Like we've got this, this store scene that we're gonna do. I could easily see myself, my old self, coming in here and being like, oh, okay, there's gonna be like a cereal aisle here. I should design 40 different cereal boxes, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna make like a cuboid for this entire shelf, because it may be, once we get the camera angles in here and the character and the movements and all of that worked out, it might be that we don't even see that aisle, or we don't see it very much, or that just one very blurry kind of texture will take care of it. And if not, if it ends up being part of a close-up, we'll model it and make it nice, but we can't do that for everything, even for a script this short and a scene and a set this simple, which couldn't model everything. We'd never get it done. So anyway, that's the idea. And then for this project in particular, I've got some approaches I want to try. I've been watching videos on different techniques. I've been kind of paying attention to different people and the way that people get things done fast. Because I think doing things quickly, doing things within a time budget is a talent in itself. Not everybody can create a masterpiece, but there are people that could create a masterpiece given infinite time. But the real masters are the ones who create masterpieces, even though they have a limited amount of time, and those are the ones that actually become known as masters because they create things, they share things, they get projects done. So that's what we're going to do. So enough talking about it, I guess. Let's do some building. And I said I was going to do this cereal shelf, so let's start with the cereal shelf. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. And a couple more of those. The checkout counter here, which I think I did say I was gonna. I wasn't totally satisfied with that. Not that one. Oops. Selection. This is a weird layout for a store. We might really revisit this at some point. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try not I was holding control there, which like locks the rotation into certain increments. I was trying to demonstrate it just now, and it's not working. Oh yeah, it is. So you can see here in the corner, like 170, 175, 180. Try not to do that, so we get a little bit more organic look. Although, well, yeah, there's some difficulty either way. Because now I don't like that I did that, because now when I scale this one out, it scales along the global axis, although I think there's a way to fix that. There it is. Okay. Tap Y twice, or in that case, because I had only hit, because I hit the middle mouse button to constrain it, hit Y, which was the axis, and then you get the local axis, so that's cool. And then there's one more. I did just do what I said I was not going to do, and I constrained that one. Okay, we got a bunch of objects here. I do want to keep things organized. We'll do store, then we'll do new collection within the store. Like the permanent things. I'm gonna fixtures. Do they call them fixtures because they're like fixed to the place? That makes sense. Okay, all these cubes we just created are these things. We're gonna move that into the store fixtures. Okay, so now we've got that as a collection that we can edit. And I just realized that the interface is moving as like so responsive, which is super nice. Okay, I've got all those selected. They are all way too tall. So we will scale them. Trying to decide how to deal with this. They're like halfway below the ground. That's okay. Oops. Nope. I'm just going to scale these to by half, so they're basically the height that I want them. Well, at least the shelves are. Okay, so these are meant to be like this. Everything, the bottom of everything should be on the floor. Okay, and then, but those are taller. These are like freezers. That's fine. Over here is the checkout desk. That's shorter. How are we actually on the global scale? Because I'm kind of thinking of these as like, sort of relative to how I drew them. But then if these units, like these big lines on the grid, are meters, but if I use them that way, then my map is too big. Okay, we'll worry about the scale later. We'll make everything sort of relative, and then we'll kind of clean it up. So this is okay. So if this is like the check stand, and it's like roughly half the height of the shelves, so that's okay. I mean, that's not bad for a start for the detail we're trying to do here. I want to know, it's like the lighting. There's some way that I can do give like different rendering here, like get colors, just like random colors. I don't remember how to do that. It was a new feature a few versions ago. It was like look dev settings. I'm clicking things. Matcap random. There we go. I think that'll help. Just gives. I wish I could do it. I wish I could have color on the grease pencil, and then within these random colors on these objects, because that just helps sort of separate them compared to when those are all gray, they kind of just blend into each other. So we'll go back to that. Let me create a new group or a new collection for the grease pencil objects. So that was the tents, the store, the field. Oh, these are slow to let me select them. Oh, and it didn't even select. Okay, we'll do them one at a time. Tents. Move it over to grease pencil. Store. Same thing. Alright, it's really slow again, but hopefully that's only temporary. And it can get faster here in a minute. Yeah, it's not. Oh, there I got to select 2. Well, let me select a 3rd. So I can move those. Okay, so now I've got that as a collection again, and I can hide it, which is sort of convenient. I can't really get away with that yet, but ooh, that does bog it down. But maybe we can deal with them just one by one again, as we need to. Let me hide them all so I get my interface responsive again. That's good, we know how to do that. I'm going to save this. Okay. If I turn those all off and turn this on, it's still responsive. Let me turn them on one at a time. So here's the store. Good. I'm going to do one more thing. There's going to be, like in this corner, a staircase. Oops, I've got, well, I'm going to change the setting. I'm emulating the numpad. I don't want to do that right now. So my number, I was hitting the number 2, and I want that to be edge select. So I'm going to move this down here. All right, and that's going to be our staircase at the moment. I will do 1. I like this idea. You can extrude along the direction. That's kind of cool. Okay. Staircase, that was the one, like detail object. I'm not really going to touch anything else. Some walls on this would be great. So I've got my store fixtures. Let me do a new collection, which we will call exterior. And my cursor's still there. Add a cube. Scale it up. Move it over. Maybe that's too far scaled. Oh, that's all right. Okay. So we're lining up with those two walls. Great. Sort of. Okay, let's make this the height we want. I think about like that. It's pretty tall compared to the shelves. Although it has, I take that back because it has a second floor. So from the exterior, which this is, then we want it to be 2-story. So you go up the stairs. Yeah, maybe something like that is close. That'll do for right now. Let's turn that off. We're going to go back here. All right, this would work. This would let us do our blocking in here mostly. So that's not bad. Let's do one more, and I think that might be as far as we get for tonight. Turn off the store because we got that kind of established. And let's go back to the tents because this is our first scene, so it's the one that's probably most interesting to do. Okay, so 3D cursor over here. Oh, we got slow again. It's just having... Oops, that's bad. I'm going to blame the lag for that one. It's definitely not me. It's crazy how much this slows us down. Okay, when I see it get slow, I like to save. Okay, 3D cursor over here. We're going to add another cube. Yeah, and there it is. I'm going to make some copies of that because it was a little neighborhood over here. Just back to the selection. This one though is going to be hers, and this one is a little bit different. Oh, those are all down super low. I shouldn't do that from this view. Oh, I got it pretty good. Okay. So what I do want to do, not to complicate things, but I did want to do a simple thing with textures. A trick I learned that I think I learned. So first, I'm gonna do a new image. I want to make a color grid, UV grid. I'm not sure. can be real small. I'm going to call this colors. I'm going to make it and see what happens. I think I wanted the other kind of grid. I mean, that's not bad, but no, that's worse. I definitely wanted the first one. Okay. So the trick is, if I'm over here in, I think it works in viewport shading. Anyway, if we, so we have our object, we got an unwrap sort of by default. The trick was if you scale this down really small, move it to a color, you should get the color here. Maybe in the viewport, maybe we need to assign the material to it. Oops, not rendering. Shading. Yeah, so new material, add an image texture with that image, and that into the color. And does it assume, it must assume UV coordinates? Is that how that works? Because something's working. So what happens if I move that? Yeah, so that it's like doing its thing. So the idea was now I have an easy way to color things that I want to color. Although, if I was in this view, I guess I'd lose that. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's too bad. But I guess that's what I wanted. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so it works. Still just random colors. Over here, the color is assigned. Anyway, the part of the idea with that is that then I sort of highlight as I go certain objects. Like these are sort of generic tints, and then our tint is here, and I've highlighted that green, which sort of already lets me start picking some colors. Okay, let's carry on here. We'll make this building, which is sort of like, they live sort of in the lee of this. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, let's go back to our layout. Okay, I'm gonna turn off this grease pencil object. I think the field, I need to change the scale. Let's try, oh, building. This is the easy one. This is only an exterior object. So no problem there. I think we will make this one fairly tall, because I think we're going to see it, when we'll see it is from like over here. If we're like looking at the tents from this angle, then that'll be like a background object. So that'll be good. And then the other one we're going to see it is when we do have the field back, and her tent is over here. It'll be a different background object than the store is going to be in the way. We might play. We've got to move this anyway. I think this might end up more over here, so the shot ends up being more like this. So we see like 1, 2, 3 buildings with the tent like here in the foreground. Yeah, something like that. So let me hide that again. Let me hide that building. Now we've got the big building to do. So this one has a few different elements. This over here is nothing in particular. So let's just block that in. And we'll do this like this. This will be shorter, like maybe a 2-story building. This one will be, I don't know if I want really tall buildings here. I think so, maybe. Give it a more urban feel. Yes, that's that. I don't know why I did that in edit mode. Hopefully that doesn't mess things up for me later. There's another one that'll be taller. And then this one is the building that matters. So we'll create a new group for that, or a new collection. Call it big building. And we'll put this cube into it as an exterior. Oh, these all ended up in the wrong groups. We'll sort those out later. Oops. Come on now. Okay. This is like a big, long building for some reason. I've drawn it as a little bit of an angle, which I don't think I meant to do, but we're gonna go with it. Give it a little bit more organic feel. So next, it's an exterior. We're gonna hide that part. We're gonna grab another one, scale it, and this will be the lobby area. That'll be the lobby walls, and then I'm gonna hide this for a second. Oh yeah, that's a decent height. For that, that's fine. Okay, now if I hide both of those, let's do block in just, oops, I always expect my cursor. We'll do another cube as this table, and this, I have this in my mind as a real, it's not like a permanent place, or at least wasn't designed to be permanent, so it's sort of makeshift. You know, it's like it's an entryway, but maybe of like, I don't know what kind of building, some sort of office building or something. But there's a table set up, and then there's a person here, the door, all like that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Let's go back to our grease pencil objects. Let me switch to the tents again. There was one more object I remembered I wanted to do. And so we're going to do it. So over here, my cursor again. Over here's another cube. And for this one, I'm going to scale it down. This should be smaller than the tents. This is going to be that tractor thing, the thing that comes and it's going to start tearing things down. And this, I'm going to I don't know what this view is called. It's like single object view. Okay, I'm gonna go into edit mode and make a few changes here. Just gonna block this out a little bit. Because I think I'm gonna want this pretty soon. I don't think that worked. No, that only got one of them. I want this whole thing. Okay. Yeah, and again, exactly like I said before, this is totally the kind of thing that I do not want to spend too much time on until I actually need it. But at the same time, I'm going to need it soon enough. Oh, it did work. I've never used that before. I hold Control and then right click, and it extrudes. That's pretty cool. Just learned about that today. Scale X -1. Hey, that worked. Do the normals go bad when you do that? If you do a -1? How can I view... where can I view the normals? Here it is. Okay. Face normals. Yeah, they are. That flipped the normals. You can see like this on this one. It's pointing out like there's this blue line pointing out. Help if I make them like a reasonable size. So if I make this smaller, you can see like this on this one it all points out, but on this one where I flipped with -1, all the normals flip. But that's easy enough to do. We can just do mesh normals. No. Where is it? There it is, normals. You could recalculate, but I know they're exactly backwards, so I'll just flip them. And now they're outside. So this is supposed to be like that tractor thing, which I gotta learn the name for. Front loader or something. I don't even think it's that. I think that's like a with the scoop. You know, just big enough to be, you know, they'd be pretty scary if it was coming to take your house down. Let's add some cylinders. That's big. That, like that. Let's see. I was gonna make this like tires, but then it starts to look like very like tractor or like farm tractor. Maybe we'll do it more like could extrude this out again. I'm gonna have to look at some reference photos. Those like very farm tractor. But then we could make this like have like tracks. So like we could fake it here just because we're because that's what we're doing right now. Anyway, so sort of like that. That is definitely not what they look like. This is what I get for modeling without reference. But it's the most detailed thing in the scene right now, so we won't complain too much about it. If I just grabbed these, move that up. Ooh, I forgot I had that thing on the top still selected. Well, that's fine. It worked out. Okay, now we're back to everything is sort of the right scale. So this is going to be there. We're doing pretty good. I'm going to save this. And I think I said at the start, I think a goal was to get one of these blocked for a camera. Let's at least do one. Let's at least do like one camera angle. Well, where's our scripts? Our script is not here because we're in a new file. But we have it because we saved it. Okay, so we have the interior of the tent. I think we're going to need to build up more of the tent simultaneously as we do that. But this exterior scene, I think we can do. So I think there's a couple angles I can think of. One of them is this kind of a thing. Seeing the tractor come in. So let's see if I can remember the hotkey. Yeah. So we get our camera like this. Oops, got too much selected. We're still in edit mode. Just object mode. Nothing selected except the camera. Okay, so I mean, yeah, it's sort of like that. Can I? Oops, not Z. X apparently. No, I want to. Oh, I see. I want to grab this Fatep Z on the local Z. Yeah, now it moves in and out. Which is good. So yeah, I mean, something like that. Oh, can I not? Yeah, I know. I didn't have focus on the window. Yeah, something like that. Or maybe I'm paying too much attention to the background. This could be a much. I'm going to go to this and see if that works. Oh, that didn't work at all. Sorry about that. Okay, changing our mind. This is going to be... So like the options here are, we could like focus in really on the action of the destruction, right? which is sort of like would make a good shot. And um, that really focuses on this and what's happening, and it sort of makes whoever's driving this more of a character. The other option, I think, is to frame it more like this, and then a couple things happen. The motion of the tractor becomes a little less apparent. We'll see if I can do this. If I can constrain it to the right axis. Yeah, so if it's moving somewhat like this, so on this axis, the motion is a lot less apparent, right? Because it's the camera's looking more or less directly down this axis, so it doesn't move a lot in the frame. Like I can, like this whole distance from as far as away as it might approach to all the way to where it would be contacting the tents is maybe maybe a quarter of the frame if I'm being generous, 20%. Where from this angle, the opposite's true. Like this, then the same motion would take almost the entire frame. Which is probably better if I were trying to show the action. Which you might want to do is it's an option I'll keep open. But I think what might be more compelling is if I make these tents the focus, and let me switch back to this so hers is colored in. If the tents are this focus, then as this is moving, it makes this less of a conscious actor and more of just part of the environment. Which I don't know, I'll have to think on that if that's the message I want to send, because there definitely is somebody who does the action, but it's not always. Yeah, there's some questions there about what we want to show. But what it does do is it sets up these tents and the people associated with them as more of the protagonists, which they are, which one of them is for our story. I think it also builds more anticipation that we see these as a focus. Let me get the camera box in here. So we have these as more of a focus. They become more of a character, and there's more of an anticipation, I think, as as the tractor's doing any moving in to disrupt these. It's probably also just technically easier to animate because we'll be showing a more abstract version of any of these things being collapsed. If we're over here, like with the claw, we're really getting the like the detailed interaction, which is a little bit hard to do. Where if we're over here, then the contact actually happens on the backside of these tents, which is easier to animate. And that alone, like ease of animation, I don't think it'd be like too hard to animate on this side or anything. So I don't think in this case that's a good reason not to do it one way or the other. Did that make sense? That was double negative or too many negatives. I'm not using that as a reason to do the shot one way or the other, the ease of animation, though it is a valid consideration in some cases. I think it may be just a more compelling shot from a view like this. So that's how we're going to set it up for one of these at least. And then I don't know a lot about setting up multiple cameras, so we're going to try something. I'm going to just duplicate it, and then we're going to do the free move over to where we want the next shot, and then I'll do that same trick of moving the camera, and hopefully it doesn't move both of them. I don't think it will. The other shot I want is, if I go back to the script, I guess it's actually maybe the first shot, is when the police walks by and slashes the wall of the tent. Let me go back to what was I in? I wasn't in layout. That's fine. Oh, what was I in? Was I in? I don't know what view I was in. Must have been modeling. So for this scene, and in my, this is one of those things you change as you go. In my head, the police was like walking up this side, and just as he went, he'd slice these tents. And it's I think she's going to be the only one around. There's nobody else in these tents. They've gone off, for the day already. So he's, he knows like they're about to destroy these tents. So there's no reason like not to just slice them. If you weren't worried about keeping the tent intact, you might not use the zipper. You just take a razor blade and slice the side of the tent open. So he's doing that kind of to check if there are people inside, and he gets to her tent, and it turns out yes there is. The cat escapes. She comes out. Looking after the cat, he talks to her, which I imagine he's even a little put out. His job probably would have been easier if there was nobody here. Even though that's whether that's better or worse, would have made his job easier. So I think he's not totally surprised, but a little surprised when she's in there. But as far as the shot, I had imagined him walking up this side. It's just the way I pictured it in my head. But we've got this building here, like this whole thing. Probably makes more sense to have him walking down this side. And the things we want to happen, we really need the action in this shot of, he walks down, he slices the tent, the cat jumps out, and then we need to like see her get out of the tent. So I'm going to move one of these over. I'm going to figure out which axis. Yeah, so they'll just be lined up a little bit differently than we planned. So if the door is on this face, the police slices this side, the cat jumps out, she opens the zipper on this face, gets out, goes after the cat. So they have their first interaction, they separate, they come back together, have their dialogue, which we still need to work out. Yeah, I think that'll be that. So let's put a camera here, if I can remember how to do it. Cool, and that worked. Like I said, I hadn't done this, but that kept a camera in the old spot, and we have a camera here, which hopefully I can select. I'm not in object mode. Okay, and we can move this around a little bit. So this is probably a lower shot. Like this one's probably eye level with both of them. Make it a little bit more of like a human shot. And again, then just thinking about maybe I should drop some things in here. Oops, 3D cursor never works the way I think. Oops, is that an empty? What did I just add? Yeah, let's add an icosphere. Scale that down. Let's give this, I'm going to wrap this up soon. I'm going to keep telling myself that. Let's use this same material trick. We'll, in the UV editor, take all of these. We'll scale them way down to a point, and this will be like blue. Because it's the police. And then let's make 2 more of those. But these are not police. Let's make a new group. Let's separate these out. New collection of characters. So that's these 3 icospheres. This one is police. This one is about half the size, and Oh, I wish it weren't scaled to 0. We might unwrap a separate one. No, I can just do that, right? How do I do a UV unwrap? UV, copy UV maps. Vertex groups, UV maps. I don't know how to re-unwrap it. Okay, that's fine. We can just, we'll do both of these. So we're in this collection. Large new icosphere. Make one of them tiny. And make this tiny but not quite so tiny. And we'll lay it out there. Let's see if we can do a trick with it. Okay, and then this is cue ball. This one is cat. Okay, cue ball. Also need an unwrap. Cue ball will be purple for the moment. Okay, but they need their materials, same as this. Oh, this can actually be the same material. I didn't need to separate these because the UV wrap is different, the UV unwrap. Cool, and you see what I did? We got a little two-tone just because of the way this is. I'll let it overlap the black and the white a little bit, and then we got shading. We get like a little two-tone for the cat. Hey, it's the little things sometimes. Okay, so back to this view. So 3 of them we'll put at like ground level, eye level. This was all with the idea of lining up this camera. And I'm going to split this view for a second, make it a viewport. Just so we can play with the action a little bit. And this will be the last thing we do. Okay, so she's in the tent. I'm gonna leave her there so it's a little easier to grab. Well, no, it's fine. They go in the tent. So I can tell already I want this a little lower. Okay, because the police, so I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing with the split view. So here in the bottom right, I'm actually controlling from like overhead where this character is going to be, and then same time over here in the main window I can see like the camera view. We're going to see how this is going to work out. So he'll probably be in the frame already, but like walk by this tent, and slice it, walk by this distance and slice it, and then he'll have to step out to get to this one, slice it. I think we'll get a pretty good view of that. And then after he slices it, the cat jumps out. And then what we need to be able to see is we want to see the cat coming out of the the slit in the tent, because that'll be cute, because cats are cute. So he'll sort of jump out. He'll be like lower down. He'll sort of like jump out of the hole in the wall, and then he'll run this way. He'll be even lower by that point. So he'll kind of like climb up and over to get out, and then he'll be ground level. It's like ground level by the time he's out here, and then he can run here. We get a good view of him. That'll be fun. He can run off. I think we should make sure he leaves like from the bottom of the camera, from like the bottom of the view, not to the side. Because then, I don't know why. I just like it better. And then our protagonist unzips the tent, which takes her a minute, and then she pops out and goes chasing after the cat. That seems about right. Let's let's do some really bad animation of this. If I go to here to no, I will stay in this view where I am because I got it laid out already the way I want. But if I, oops, not that. If I do another split and give myself the, is that a timeline that has that? Yes. So if I check this for auto keyframe, yeah, then, oh, why can't I grab stuff? Oh, because I'm in edit mode for something. Okay, so I can put this police, well, he'll start like here. What I can do, I can play this. It's set for 250 frames, which will be like 10 seconds. That'll be alright for what we're doing. So I'm going to play this. It'll auto keyframe, and as I move this, it should record the keyframes for a rough animation. So we'll see what happens. Slices it, walks over to this one, slices it, and then the cat jumps out. He'll back up a little bit at that. Okay. I think I messed it up because I wasn't back in the right spot when we got to frame 1. But he's standing there. Oh, that worked. Walks forward, slices it, walks forward, slices it. Then kind of moves off to the side. Great. Let's do the same for the cat. I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to be ready to grab the cat. So the police officer walks, slices, the cat jumps out, and then he runs toward us. Okay, pause that, and then the other thing I need to do for the cat is he jumps out, and then by like here, he should be lower. Yeah, and then I need to fix all of these. This will be worth it. Okay, so just his Z location. I don't want everything, just want nope. I don't know how to do this. I can hide all the others. Oh, wait, all of these shouldn't matter. Those I can get rid of. And then just the Z location. But where am I supposed to do that? Yeah, it was here, then he goes. Yeah, so here he hops down. All of these. Oops, that didn't work. All of these frames could go away. And now the cat is up high, he jumps down, comes out. The timing's not great, but that's okay. And then he's out here, and he comes almost out the bottom of the frame. This is a terrible way to do this. Just to make him run, like we said, out the bottom of the frame. That should really be the right direction, though. But that's okay. That's good enough for now. Okay. Back to... No, I don't even need to switch that, do I? No, maybe I will. Because then I can turn off auto keyframe. Okay. Back to this. We got one more character to do. Select her. And we'll go back to the beginning. We'll play the animation and we'll animate her. So police officer gets there, cut it, Cats jumps out. She takes a second, but then she comes out and chases after the cat. And I think, I don't think we got it all because I don't think 250 frames was enough. No, so. Let's make this just longer. Okay, and again, back there to the start. Grab, now we'll be ready to go. Gets there, slices, the cat jumps out, she sticks her face out, and then she goes running after the cat. Okay, now I can turn off auto keyframe, otherwise that'll get me later. Let's see what we got. First goes up, goes to the 2/10, goes to this one, slices, cat jumps out, runs down, and then cue ball chases after. That looks like a shot to me. I think we've got it. We got something blocked out. Do we have a yeah, we got one with all three. Can I get her coming out and the cat in there? Not bad. Okay. Definitely gonna save this. Yeah, so we've got two cameras. So we've got one shot here. I think this is our starting shot, right? This is the one that lines up first on the script. We've got the action of the characters, then we'll have it's not even the next thing that happens, right? So interior of the tent we skipped because we don't have the tent interior built yet. The police slices walls of the tent, cat jumps out, cue ball goes out. The tent door starts chasing after the cat. We've got that. Police tells her she has 3 minutes to pack up and get out. maybe we'll cut to a slightly different shot, but I think different, like this might be a close-up. And then she's back in the tent. How did I turn on? Yeah. So she's back in the tent, gets these things. Then here's the front loader. So this is another interior of the tent, because we need to see what she grabs. Then the front loader is tearing down tents. That's when we're to this shot. We get this this thing coming in, and we'll get contact with that first tent, at least. We'll have like there'll be like a garbage truck or something here too that he's going to load things into. And then we probably go back to the other view for this. For the cat comes out, finds cue ball. She talks to the police, asks what she's supposed to do, where she can stay, and he answers about this the shelter that's nearby that turns out to be useless for her, but that's the info she gets. So yeah, these are probably the two main, and then there'll be like a more maybe for the dialogue there will be like a close-in version of this one where they're talking, maybe. So we'll use a combination of those, and I think it'll work out okay. So that is what we're going to call it. We'll save this exactly as it is. Not going to touch it. So glad we got past the issues of getting this file to be responsive. We'll pick it up next time. I was hoping to get a little further with the blocking, but had some issues we had to work through with Blender being responsive. I think I learned that that the grease pencil objects can be still pretty geometry heavy or pretty resource heavy, even in the viewport. So I'll take that into consideration for next time. We kind of got around that by using what's the modifier called? Simplify. And hiding the ones we didn't need at any given time. There they are, all hidden. So it was one lesson learned. Also, I'll make sure that I'm on my discrete graphics before I start the next stream where I'm going to work on this. And yeah, I think the next time we work on this project, we'll continue blocking this out. I think this was a good activity, a good exercise. We're certainly farther along for just a few hours of work than I usually am at this point in in similar projects. So I'm pretty happy with how this is going, and I'm still pretty motivated to work on this for just a project that kind of popped in my head as a way to test a feature. Kind of excited about where it's going. So yeah, we'll keep working on this. I don't know if this will be in the next stream. I may work on something else. When I started streaming, I didn't intend to do as much of the art focus as I have been. It's definitely one thing I wanted to do, but I want to cover some other material as well. So I'll probably do that in an upcoming stream, but definitely going to work on this too. And who knows, if it goes like the last one, after the last one, I did not think that I'd spend the next stream also working on this project. So who knows, maybe the next stream I will work on this project again. We'll see how it goes. Usually I'll get a feel for it in the next day as I'm just going about my day doing other things. My mind tends to focus in one direction or another. I'll either be thinking about this project and looking forward to working on it, or I'll be thinking about one of the other ideas that I have, and I'll just kind of go where the focus is. But I'm definitely excited to work on this project again, so I'm sure it'll come up. And yeah, hopefully I can stay focused like I intend to. Really work on this from the top down sort of approach. If I can block scenes out like this, especially if I can get the camera angles sort of locked in, more or less what we want the final shots to be. Then we know exactly what we need to build. It's like if you look at this shot as an example. Yeah, I know we've got the river turned off, but even if I turn that on, hopefully this doesn't break anything. Oh, I don't. Did I not even import it? I didn't import it to this file, I don't think. That's fine. You can see from this view, you can see a little clip of the stream. So like the stream was over here. If this is the shot we're using, this tells me I should focus my time probably building this building, building these tents, and I mean this is just the back wall, so that's easy. Build these tents in a fair amount of detail, work on these characters. This path thing I'm gonna want to do well enough, since that's getting some foreground space, like that'll be visible and in focus, since it's at the same depth as the characters and everything. So that's worth spending some time on. But if I zoom, ooh, locked up now. There we go. If I zoom back a little bit, you can see like the creek ends up not playing into this shot at all. So I can model that a lot more simply, or not model it at all. It might just always stay this grease pencil object. I'll see if there's some nice way to apply material to that, maybe. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it if it's not going to be in the shot, or if it's not going to be a main feature. So, and again, that's if I was approaching this project differently, I might have spent time on that before I had even blocked out the shots. So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to avoid, trying to be efficient, trying to only build what needs to be built, and only to the level of detail it actually needs to be. So that's the approach, and I mean, so far so good. We're a few hours into this project, and I feel good about what we've got so far. We've got a map of the set, the environment. We've got the basic block out of all of the areas, I think. Oh, no, we didn't do the field shot, because that one we need to rescale and some things. So put some effort into that one. But yeah, otherwise we've got the start of all our locations. For the first scene, we've got a couple different camera angles worked out that I'm fairly happy with. I mean, we'll always be revising those as we go. Towards the final render, but I'm pretty happy with the way we did that. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say beyond that. So I think we'll leave it here. I am trying to get if the UI responds. I think this last frame is what sometimes shows up in the preview, so I'd like to get a clean shot of that if I can, without this grease pencil object selected. Oh, here we go. Why is that? Okay, good enough. It doesn't really matter anyway, but now we got it. That's interesting. We're still like showing the line from the grease pencil objects. I don't think it was doing that before. I definitely still have things to learn. Anyway, I think I've said plenty now. Yeah, so that's what I have for today. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for watching. If you're watching after the fact, the recording, glad you're interested. I'll keep posting as I continue to do work, and when we get to the completion of this project, hopefully there will be a nice video, a nice little short film that's posted to the main channel. So thanks again for joining. I'll see you next time.